crappy things happened today, and I didn't get to play any more than was on the previous video. But my newer lighter, which kind of is defective anyway, I lost it. I thought I had lost my, or I couldn't find my RuneQuest stuff. Eventually I found I had hidden it in my Age of Steam box, the expansion maps there. But this one actually works better, so maybe I'm better off. I bought one that just sucked when that one got broken, and sent that one back to Zippo, and they, of course, fixed it. It's actually better than probably it ever was, and I ought to do that with the current one for $5, but I should have never bought it in the first place. Anyway, we're at the start of a stock round, and we're in a position where players during their turn have the choice to either float the RU as a growth company, which may actually make sense, or we can sell off a couple of shares. So he has 252, 352 bucks, 362, 368. Well, let's take a look at the first player here. So he's probably not going to be able to get that. He has 126, 226. He's not going to be able to buy a TSI, the RU, and he doesn't have the opportunity to convert one of the newcomers into it. This guy obviously isn't going to have the cash. He could float it with Fastbuck, though. It's an interesting idea. Excuse me. But I'm not sure if he wants to do it. But we can take a look at other people. This guy has 200 and something bucks already on hand. He has 2 miners and another share there. So let's say it was 330, 40, 51, 354. What would 354 divided by 5? So he could actually float it at a 67. That's probably not worthwhile. When you're floating a major company, you probably don't want to put it down in the basement like that, although money can be gotten in this game. It's probably better off to start it with one of these suckers and get the advantage off of that. But what we're seeing is that if you don't have one of these, you're behind the 8 ball already. And if you're not one of the 2 players who managed to get 2 of them, you're probably in the second tier of players. So these are proving to be a little bit more potent than I remembered them being. I thought they were an advantage, but I didn't think they were as big an advantage early in the game. But boy, do they crank the cash. Which means that you should not do what these guys did, and you should absolutely make sure that you get one of them, which shouldn't be too hard. Of course, if nobody buys this, all of them could be contested, and they could go for more than well over $100, which I've seen happen. All right, well, let me think, and I'll come back as people come to decide. The first person who had an option to start the RU is doing so. And they're moving Fastbuck into the RU. The treasury goes over there. The ships go over there. His extra token does not. But he has the option to grab this. Might as well take it. It's a rare, it could be useful. And on top of that, I had a hard time finding my refueling counter. Thought I had lost it. He gets a growth slot, or a growth base over here. So now he can operate out of either of these. It's not necessarily advantageous for him to be geographically located, because these are the places where his ships start from. But I wanted to do it. Now, wanted to do it is a kind of weird statement, actually. I didn't particularly want to do it. I gave this guy only a 1 in 6 chance of doing this because if TSI shares start flushing out, he may lose his shares of the TSI, or he may lose his control of the TSI. Alternately, somebody could buy RU out from under him for very little money. There's people with enough cash to have it. And then the final thing is, this opens up 3 more companies to be available, and that makes these smaller spaceships less likely to last for a long time. So it seems like no matter what happens, this was a bad move, but I wanted to give them the option to do it anyway. Because I'm not absolutely positive, it's just clearly horrendous. And that moves the option over to him, where he could buy a 3rd share of TSI, which does not guarantee, well, no, there isn't one available. He could try buying up the RSUs, or the RUs. Speaking of the RU, its special advantage is that it gets to place a claim for free each round, and then its second one is $100. I thought it could place 3 claims. That's the Asteroid League that can do that, I guess. As another side of things, I could cash Drillhound in, who is down here. The problem, so Venus Prospectors is a particularly good company for Drillhound to be attached to. I've got a couple of rares here. I could try to find more rares. It's an appealing prospect. It really is, to combine those two. This is the only chance that I'll get it, so I'd say there's a fair chance of him doing that. Trying to grab RU? Maybe. Controlling companies is a pretty big deal in this game, because as long as they're decent companies, you're limited by your share limit, and there really aren't a lot of corporations in this game. Of course, there's a reason I can't do this, and why no one does it. It's not in phase 2 yet. So let's just undo all of this. Get that RU back there. Let's go here. And we're going to leave those counters there because there's a very good chance that RU is going to come back in the game, or is going to be coming into the game this turn. Fastbuck had taken the rare, and he has 1 more available. Oops. And I also fucked up last night. TSI did not buy any claims. Well, I was debating this one actually. This is an iffy claim, because it's only it's a cheap rare, but it's close to here, and I don't know. But I think I did debate it and consider it, so it's not as bad as it looked. I legitimately failed to pick that up when I could have. The tough question is, who wants to be, and does anybody want to be, the guy who starts RU at a low value at 67 without a growth company's advantages? The kind of nice thing about a growth company is you get to turn these guys into shares. Now, they turn into a share anyway, but you get to turn them into a presidency. But like I said, presidencies are kind of important in this game. However, so is making early money, as it is in all the games. And if I'm ditching my TSIs and grabbing an RU without a growth company, I'm not going forward this turn with my cash. I really like the idea of Drillhound with the Venus Prospectors. If I buy RU, it's quite possible somebody else will buy Venus Prospectors. I am going to actually pass with this guy. What about him? He's making really good money. He may not want to shake things up. He also doesn't really have the cash to. Okay. This fella. He has 228 plus 126. Can he get there? I think so. So that's 354. That means he'd break 70 per share, so he's fine. He could start the corporation. Does he particularly want it? Again, he's making really good money. Does shaking things up do him any good? Probably not, but he at least has the option. And I'm going to roll that die. Is there something I want out of these? I've got Mars Mining, Lunar. Okay, Mars Mining is good at delivering ice, if I'm correct. And Lunar is good at delivering nickel. Now, Ore Crusher is also good at delivering nickel, but not a lot of nickel's been found here. He's also good at, he's not good at finding nickel. I think it's very unlikely he wants it. The only reason he'd want it is to get that extra certificate bonus early on. So I'm going to give him just the one that I gave to him for slitting his own wrists. Over here, he's got 2 shares. Oops. 2 shares. 126 times 2. And remember, these things are making nice share value, so maybe holding is not a bad idea. Plus 106. Divided by 67. He could do it. He's not making as good money. He could drop a free base somewhere, which could be very helpful to RU to jump into an area where claims are of value. Is there such an area? Ice over here is appealing, but so this is a base. I don't know if I see anywhere else that looks really appealing to be grabbing claims at this point. The nickels here are kind of nice. I'm going to give him a 1 or a 2. And he also chooses not to and takes a pass. And this guy, he was first player. He already passed, I guess. Right? I guess he didn't have the money. 126 plus 118. Let's just make sure that I'm right about that. $244. Yeah, that's not going to be enough. Okay, so we get through the stock round without doing anything, and we go back to the operating rounds where we're going to be, pulling in the money from the privates, etc. So there's still a chance that RU could end up getting floated as a growth company, because it's pretty likely that TSI is going to buy themselves a 2-ship. So let's go through these again. I find if I don't tell the story of what shows up, it's kind of hard to understand the board and why it develops the way it does. I don't really like going into this much detail in these games, but whatever. Okay, so Fastbuck has 2 ships. One of them is going to be running this, and he'll be running a $60 rare and a $40 ice. Into there. Put a used marker there, because that makes more than this. And yes, he has an extra movement point, but he doesn't want to use it. The other one is going to go here, because this gives me that bonus, and I could use it with both ships actually, of the $30 base there. So I explore for 2. I mean, I'll be able to pick something up. Explore for 2. I find a rare. So that gets me a $30 rare. And a $30 transshipment. So I add these up very quickly. 160, which means 80 and 80. Plus 10 more for this. Well, this 80 gets me 100. I'll have to do this one as well. problem I have with Fastbuck, he can't buy another ship, so he might as well buy that other claim. Now where does he want to put it? Let's see. I could make 80, or I could make 90. Take my claim there. And now Fastbuck is pretty much set until whenever the one trains go away, which is phase 3. And at that point, he might have enough money to buy himself a three ship. But it's possible maybe he turns into the Argo. Who knows? Or maybe this guy has enough cash to cash in on the Argo. That puts us to number 2, who's Icefinder. Icefinder's over here. He bought this damn thing, which maybe wasn't so wise, because now there's a couple of ice. He's running a 3-2, which could run up there. This runs for 90. It's better. 1, 2, 3. Runs for 100. Even better. Okay, we'll do that. And that's no better than this would be. Oh, except that I get plus 10 per ice. So maybe I'm better doing this. 1, 2, not this time necessarily. Well, it could be this time. 1, 2, 3. That would be 60 and 50 eventually, which is 11. That sounds like his best run, right? 60 and 60. No, this is 12. Why is this? This is 11 right now. Yeah, we'll run down here. So we're running for 60 plus 60 is 120. That's going to be 60 and 60. And we used that up, but we're going to buy a claim there. And, you know, not perfect, but not bad. I wouldn't have had anywhere near enough money for another ship, so that puts us to 3, who's Drillhound. Drillhound is running out of here. He likes rares. He could come 1, 2, 3. So that's pretty good. He gets plus 10 per rare. So he would make 40, which he can make off this. 1, I can't get anywhere useful. Okay, so let's chew up the ice. So I'll make 40 and 70 is 11 a share. That makes 55 for each. And now I'm going to claim that other rare that's there. And you can see that exploration ability. Until he becomes part of a corporation, it doesn't really do me much good anymore. I've set up my route. That's all I can do off my one ship. If you threw more money in, maybe you could get the jump on the first phase 1 ship. Otherwise, Fastbuck usually gets the bonus ship. Kind of nice that the Torch got one. Okay, that goes to 4. Ore Crusher. He's down here, not crushing any ore at all, and feeling kind of like a dick. This is my best space, but right now it doesn't make a difference, so I'm going to kill the ice, just so, I don't know, nobody else can really use any of this. So that's going to be 11 a share, paying out 55, 55. I spent 60 on a claim on that other rare up here. This one got used. if it matters. And next time I'm going to be making 140, which is pretty good money. Torch has 2 ships, so he's a little bit more complicated. He's got an ice delivery. I don't have any claims down there and a pile of money. That's kind of weird. Okay, let's see what he's running. He's running both 4 2s. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's not much I can do about it. 1, 2, 3, 4 I can do. Which is my best chance of getting another ice in there. Yeah, I don't know why I have an extra ship and all this money on board. That seems a little strange to me, but okay. So we're going to explore this hex, and Torch doesn't have anything special. Ooh, his ship could carry 2, so he was going to pick up one of these pieces. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. One of these nickel pieces of garbage. I know I should have announced that beforehand. But basically, he picks up this garbage, which is only going to be worth 30. I do get 10 in the treasury. Okay, and then here, I'm running at 50 and 80. It's 130, so it's 160. It's 80 and 80. Transfer the money, which is pretty good money. And we really want to buy that claim. I think we screwed up by not buying it last time. We'll buy the important claim. And then the other one is also used. Okay. Now, I believe, yeah, we could spend $100 and grab a second claim. I don't feel like it's that necessary. Nobody's up here competing. If RU had started in somebody else's hands, I'd be really screwed. Perhaps. And that puts me to 6, which is lucky. Lucky says I can deliver these 2 ices. 1, 2, 3. So that's 70 and 50 is 120. That's going to be 60 and 60. Put this over in our pocket. The other 60 is going to claim this ice. Because again, we get a bonus on the ice location. And OPC, I think they get nothing. I'm trying to remember. There's got to be a bonus for these guys. There's a bonus for everything. So Lunar's nickel, Venus is rare. Oh no, OPC is nickel, and RCC is nickel. So that's interesting. I didn't realize that. They also have different configurations. So like Venus Prospecting has a cheap refueling station, you know. There's just some weird little bits. This one has cheap bases. In addition to their production value. Okay, that brings us over to the TSI. And nobody was able to buy a ship, because ships cost 200. The only people who could have had that kind of money already have 2 ships. Okay. TSI, what are we doing with this? We have a 5-1 and a 3-2. So coming out of here, these 2 is pretty good. I'd like to claim this, I think. That's a good location. I probably should have done it before. So I think one of my ships is going to fly that way. But I probably want to run my probe and scout first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's the problem. I'd like to be finding rares over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why don't I search this? I could just send my probe there and then see what happens. Because if it doesn't find a rare, which is pretty likely, then I can search these guys out. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to send our probe to that hex that I pointed to. And we get a double nickel and $10. Okay. La-di-da. So the probe's done. The 5-1 was going to come down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which means we know what the other one's doing, unless something magical happens. So the first one is a nickel. I am going to pick one of the, I'm going to pick that up. It's only worth 20 bucks, but there aren't a lot of valuable 2 commodity asteroids, and there are a lot of 1 commodity asteroids. Put this one down here. So that's going to deliver a 20 nickel and a 20 rare, which sucks. Oh no, no. I did not want to pick up the nickel because I'm almost guaranteed to get something better than that. Sorry. I forgot this was the 5. So he just pulled in 20 bucks more. And then the 3-2 is running. That means this. The 3-2 is running 1, 2, 3. Which will be 80. So I'm running for 100 bucks. I will pay that out full because it's ship money. And we might as well get 2 stock valuations off of it, which I consider incredibly cheap. But that means everybody gets 10 bucks a share. Appears I paid out because I should have had 2 reds there otherwise. I paid the 20 bucks that I was supposed to get. I can buy some of these things. So I'll buy a claim down here, which is the most valuable one that I can see. And that is the end of this operating round, I believe, except I can buy a spaceship. Okay. Well, this starts getting complicated. Let me think for a while. I'll tell you what I picked up. All the shit that's going on, I'm seeing why I was a little reluctant, why I waited so long to vid this. I didn't really think about it, but I've always been kind of reluctant to go to it. I went and did 1870, which has many of the same unpleasantries, but what it doesn't have is the amount of mental juggling that goes on in this one, in terms of all the different things that you can buy, all the different things that you can do in your turn. This is one of the most complicated, just in terms of the things you have to do in an operating round. The other aspects, there's some fanciness with, some of the capitalization choices, stuff like that. There is a little bit there, but they just sort of fall into happening, and you look them up and do them procedurally. This is the common, keeps happening again and again, and you keep having to count and search routes. And now, looking for a train, I have to take in mind, okay, what's my eventual route going to look like? I'm not seeing a lot of rares here, so I might be like looking to build a base out here, and maybe a refueling station here, because then 1, 2, 3, 4 takes me to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, it's going to be hard to pull shit that far away, and I may need a scout. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 175 and buy myself a scout. Now, that scout kills the TSI probe, which goes here. These have nothing on the back. And now, and it would have been interesting, they could have put it on, oh, they did. Something to cash in? It did. It did not. Something should have been cashed in. I'll go see, because, no, those guys don't have anything on the back. Okay. So, after the scout, I have the opportunity to buy yet another ship. This is the TSI's glory days. This is where I need to make the money off of them. Unfortunately, I'm not holding a lot of the shares, so maybe I don't need to. On the other hand, this is where most of my share value is coming from. Yeah. Let's buy it. If we end up starting another company off of cash, whatever, we'll be able to swap ships around. And did we buy everything else we need? We might want to grab this refueling base because it's hard for us. We only have one base. If we don't buy this one, we may not be able to. Someone else may slip in there. I'm going to say on a 1 or 2. I'll buy it outright. Yeah, I'm going to just buy that to make sure I get it. So for 50 bucks, I slap that down. And that actually gives me some interesting opportunities in terms of I can go out and explore 2, 4, 5, 6, and now I have 3 movement left, so I can make this little run or whatever. So there's kind of some cool stuff that happens by having a refueling base, even if it's in what looks like a really dumb place right now. Okay. TSI goes back, this goes here, and we do all the mechanical stuff at the beginning of an operating round. Buck has to make a decision. I paid everything out, including to him, whether or not he wants to make the run he made last time, which will give him 60, 190. Or if he wants to keep exploring and developing stuff. What's kind of neat about exploring and developing stuff is I can sell claims, and these claims are kind of interesting because I don't really want them falling into the Asteroid League. TSI may really want those claims to get them into here. But that'll be late in the game probably. However, it may be that I want to develop some stuff out here and see what's coming out of it. So I'm somewhat tempted to just grab 120 with my ship and then run out here 2, 3, 2, 3, over the next couple turns and do some more exploration. I think I'm going to do that. So we'll search that first one out. And we find this. We can pick both of those up. We don't make as much money, that's for sure. So that only gets us 30 bucks. We get 10 bucks for exploration. 30 bucks. Oh, we could have bought a ship off Fastbuck and improved him. That would have been a wise move, actually. Stupid me. It's great to have a corporation and a miner, and that's the one way you can kind of clear out the space for the Phase 2 ships, right? It's Phase 3 that the Independents go down. It's hard for me to remember all the phase changes in this one, even though they're all printed here, and they're not on the tip of my brain. So that's 30, and 120 is only 150, so it's 75 and 75. Okay. Not much I can do with Fastbuck at this point because of what I chose to do. Been punking along pretty well, just running their things. Now I come to Ore Crusher. He ran his rares, 70 and 70. He has 85 bucks here. With this cash, with whatever Torch is going to have, etc., Torch would have enough to buy another ship, one of these $200 ships. That's almost always a good idea. Money's very easy to get into these things, so I'm going to transfer everything because he has a claim and everything, and grab one of these. That cuts my prices or my value that Torch is going to make this next turn by a little bit, but I think it's worthwhile. And that way we can get another ship for Torch, 4-3, which will be running as a 5-3, and that's going to improve our situation quite a bit, I believe. We'll take a quick look at him. He's just going to run this, which is going to be 80, and 50 is 130. Which is 65 and 65. Now for 200 bucks, I think I'm buying the big guy. I hope I didn't spend 200 on that $175 ship. I don't think I did. I do want this. This is a bigger ship. I'll be able to make more money off of it, I'm pretty sure. Okay. Of course, I'm full up now, but that's all right. I'll be making humongous money. I'm assuming. What am I going to do with it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, at least to begin with, and maybe find some more ice. Do I want to drop that claim on this ice? It's going to be worth 60 bucks as a run. Something else might be worth more. Claimed. I don't know. I honestly do not know. It's a hard call. I think the answer is yes. So we'll take this claim here. Ice sitting next to Mars mining. I don't have any advantage finding it. Let's look at the last guy, Lucky. Doesn't look like anything special is happening. There wasn't enough cash here to be able to do that trick. The big deal here is somebody has 2 ships and all kind of, and there was good money coming in here too. The headache that is TSI, and it really is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I could go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doesn't help me. Okay, trying to get this one in there would be 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'd need a 5 movement to be able to haul this. Is it worth using my 5-1 scout to haul this there? I don't know. I mean, it's the best run he'll probably make off of that. I've got a 3-2 that can haul the 2 ice here. So let's do that. 2 ice. Well, okay, so right now these 2 ships are kind of accounted for. The 4-3, it only makes it there. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's carrying so much shit. That's the problem. What about that 6-2? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Clear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do that. 1, 2 there. And I'll try to be careful and not have to, like, cheat. Okay, I found a rare 20. Now, if I get that back here, it's worth 40. The ice is worth the same as that. I don't know. No, the ice is not worth the same as that. Okay, so I'll pick up the 20-point rare on this. That was 1, 2, 3. Now I'm clear again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I find a crappy double nickel. Okay, I grabbed this. I'll grab the double nickel, right? I don't have to. I could grab this ice. We'll grab the ice, I think, because I don't know. I really don't know. What is my other ship? My other ship's a 4-3-1. 1, 2, 3, 4. I could grab that. Well, there's a couple of these 20-buck nickels in my way anyway, so that works fine. So I'll get a 30-buck ice as well. Okay. And those are both bonused, because, well, no, the rare is bonused because it's going into there. What was I doing with the other thing? I don't remember. 1, 2. Okay. So I just used my scout up. My other thing's a 4-3. I don't know what to do with that. 1, 2, 3, 4. I could haul all this ice. My 3-2, though, can't get there. So let's send the 3-2 and grab those 2 40-buck ices. And those are going to be normal price ices. And when you've got this many ships, you kind of have to use the used mines, even though you're the last guy going and everything. It's a good idea anyway. Like, flipping these things and everything is a good idea anyway, because if somebody else ends up in ownership of it, it can't be used again by them. And that can happen by a number of means. Okay. What do we got here? We got our 5-1 we have not used yet. How are we going to use that? We were going to send that here and back. That makes some good money. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So that'll pull a 70 rare into the good place. No exploration. I forgot to take my 20 bucks of exploration money because I looked for a couple of hexes. Okay. And then the final one's this 4-3, which is not optimal at all. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't actually have to go there. So this is worth 40. I could do 1, 2, 1, 2. That doesn't help. 1, 2, 3, 4. I could get 90 this way. I could get 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 that way. So I'm going to take these 3 ices for 90. Okay, so that's 90, 170, and 90 is 260, 300, 330. Now, I don't have a lot of shares of this. I've been eating up my cash. Do I want a whole pile of money? Do I need... I'm not going to get that much more money than other people. So yeah, I'm going to pay out half. So 330 and half is 165. 65, 175, 200 into the company. We go forward 1 space. And what did I say? 165 divided. So, oops. It's got a rounding issue on it, so it wasn't quite right. I don't remember which way it rounds. Okay. So $5 is owed back. So 161 into there, 170, 17 a share is what's being paid out. The amount of mental gymnastics you have to perform in this game, that is very much a Tom Lehman thing. Quite often, you have to be balancing a whole bunch of things at once in your head. Is it terrible? I would rather not have it. Now, but one thing he did was he didn't increase the share value as much as he could have. He didn't put as much money into people's hands as he could have. That's going to make it harder for somebody like this to make the decision that the RU is worth purchasing. He's going to have to throw that out to do it. On the other hand, he's got this, which he can sell. He can't sell this, but he can sell this to the RU, and thereby, you know, get himself some more cash in the future. It's appealing. He doesn't have any board presence anywhere, so there's nothing that he would necessarily, you know, that makes him choose the RU or not choose the RU. In some cases, you might not want them. So, for example, Torch, well, the RU has some nice ice built up there that they can take from Torch, maybe at a later point in the game. So that might be appealing. Or if he absorbs into Torch, that's a good position, because this base running to there isn't that impressive. But running from here, there's more room for neat stuff to be available. And I forgot to buy, before I do this entirely, I've got to buy a claim for TSI. It's very easy for me to forget to buy claims. All right, on somebody who's already got a company started to have the opportunity to start the RSU by smashing one of these into it, or the RU. I think that's too big an advantage. So what I'm going to do, and I do need to get a company soon, I need to get one developed and get some stock value. I'm going to dump this out. It goes into the stock market where it doesn't produce money for anybody. Nope, corporations receive dividends for shares in this area. Sorry, it does produce, because this is the 1830 model. This includes the 1830 model. That drops the price. I get 171 bucks And then I'm going to be starting the RSU at 70, or the RU at 77. 88 was way out of range. I buy the 2 shares of it, and it becomes a public company. In my playthroughs, these guys are so valuable, you don't really want to turn them into a growth company. Growth companies, I mean, you got to do it if you don't have another option. But I don't think anybody's going to be able to take the TSI from me. This is the moment where I have the opportunity to turn Fastbuck into a growth company. There is a danger to it, though. If somebody goes after the TSI, someone else can go after whatever I put Fastbuck into. So maybe I should stay as an investor, buy myself another TSI. I'll be paying out half probably for a while because I don't have much money. There's $770 in here now. Just, or maybe not. Maybe I'll just take a bunch of cash. And, you know, if I have to take a hit at some point, I have to take a hit. The problem is I probably won't end up with 2 companies easily to juggle unless I get one of the crappy ones. What is available for Fastbuck if I want to do it? Let's see. See, if I turn Fastbuck into something, this would be the definite option. This is a direct competitor with TSI. I'm planning on converting these over to TSI. So it's really kind of an iffy choice. I don't think I have the money to just buy Venus Prospectors outright. I mean, I could buy the presidency. 415. I don't know. That sounds like a lot of money. Yeah, I could start it at 77 just outright. Yeah, that's pretty iffy. But then maybe Fastbuck would give things to them. Fastbuck's in a really good position, though. I'm getting 50-50 on whatever he pulls. This is... The safest thing to do is to buy this TSI for $154. It'll make money. Jeez. All right. 1 or 2 I'm going to try to start Venus, but I don't know quite how. Yeah, I'm going to start it. Now I have to think. Do I want to dump Fastbuck in and get these claims right away? He's got 2 ships, which he can't really deliver down there, but I could put a refueling slot in there. Venus, unfortunately, starts here. That's where they want to end. So having something like this isn't that terribly bad. Yes, I am going to start it as a growth company. I'll be back in a minute. It's a very weird company. I mean, if you compare it, RU and TSI have a lot of claims, RU especially. They don't have a lot of bases and refueling. VP has a lot of bases, very cheap refueling, but not a lot of claims. Their goal is to try to get the rares wherever they can find them and haul them back. And that's what's happening right here. This is putting TSI in competition with the VP, but the way I'm looking at it is I don't have that many shares of TSI. If somebody wants to go for it, I'm going to let them take that. I'm not going to let them take VP from me, because VP has, in addition to the plus 20 per rare that they've got set up there, they get another plus 10, and I was able to float it and have a lot of extra money to buy additional shares of things as I desire. Gotta be careful not to buy RUs, if I can help it, well, or anything else that floats. But I've got enough cash to kind of protect the TSI. I don't think somebody's going to take it from me, and I can always dump it and buy VPs if need be. I would kind of like to get more cash into the VP's treasury. It would be stronger in that case, but at least I'm depriving other people from getting it, and you know, I can make it stronger by like mismanaging the TSI perhaps. We'll see how this is going to fall. I don't think he's going to end up holding both of those companies at the end of this. Naturally, Drillhound is the guy who wants to create VP, and he starts way up here, and he's just built up to do it. However, he didn't get the chance. Somebody else swept it from him. And that's a problem. He's in a position where, yeah, I can sell my TSIs and start either Lunar Enterprises, which doesn't look terribly valuable right now, or Mars Mining, where there's not a lot of ice near me. I'm really not positioned to make much off of any of this. I think I'm going to pass on either of those and buy myself the TSI about the next player. He has enough cash with this TSI that he could dump the value of that he could start either Lunar or Mars Mining. Now, for Mars Mining, he has Icefinder. Icefinder could help him build this up. Icefinder happens to be over here, not too far from an ice delivery location. He hasn't found a lot of ice. The reason I'm tempted to start one of those is because somebody else has 2 ships on each. I'm not going to be able to keep up with what they have available to them. Whatever they do, they have the edge on me right now by a lot. They also have a lot more cash, which means they can start one of these companies. If one of them's better than the other, they can just start it outright and keep these suckers. However, and Drillhound is kind of in this position too. Sort of the, yeah, so what? You know, Icefinder starts here. He's not going to be able to get shit over there. He could fly out of here and maybe find more ice, but it's kind of boned. Lunar is also kind of boned. Maybe I'm best off starting a company. Starting a company without the bonus, though? Well, I'm not going to be able to find the shit that I really want in that case. Let's take a look at what these look like. 6 claims. That's not much more than Venus. 9 claims for Lunar. If I don't have any real advantages, Lunar's big claim hold is kind of nice, but I don't have the ability to grab stuff very easily. This has a decent number of refueling and bases, which is appealing. If I throw Icefinder in, I'm throwing away an Asteroid League. Oh, speaking of which, Fastbuck went in. I don't remember which way it goes. Yeah, it goes this way. If I'm throwing Icefinder in into a company, and Mars Mining would definitely be the company that I could do, I can make deliveries out here, which wouldn't be too bad. I'd have a better chance of finding ice out of either of these sectors. If I buy it outright, it's not as good. I could throw Lucky in, who already has a couple of ice finds. See, what I'd really like to do is put them both into Mars Mining, because between the two of them, they have all the advantages. He's holding those. The thing with Lucky is Lucky can give up his spaces. So I think I am going to create a Mars Mining out of Icefinder with the intention of selling claims from Lucky probably to it, especially as the Asteroid League is about to form. The negative to that is one of my claims is used up on a damn nickel. That's life. You know, I mean, I'll be able to deliver it. It's $60, but there's a lot of ice here that I'm thinking about grabbing. Not optimal. He has the option to buy Lunar Enterprises outright. He has $500. He can start a company at $100 a share. There aren't any TSIs out because growth companies are being formed. People aren't ditching shares and starting new big corporations. I'm not used to that happening as much as it's happening in this one. Oops. I mean, 2 of the growths starting right away. In opposed play, it happens more often than in my solo play. In my solo play, I kind of don't like doing that. I feel like it's kind of a weakness because these guys are so potent on their own. But, who's coming after him? Someone with $190. Will he buy will he start Lunar is the question. Because if he doesn't start Lunar, I'm in a bad position. And I want to get a corporation started right now. It allows me some ship juggling and shit like that. And whatever I start is going to have a shitload of money on it. Another option is I could try to take over Venus Prospectors. But 67 times 3 is $201. He has enough to protect it without cutting into his TSI or anything like that. And as long as nobody's selling their TSIs, he doesn't have any reason that he can't protect it. He'll probably be buying those up if the TSIs don't start looking like they're shifting hands. Well, actually he can't sell them, but this is really a bonus for him. The guy in the kill position is sitting on 3 TSIs, but he's hoping to make money off the next round and then start a corporation one way or another. Probably cash, just because you need to invest your cash somewhere. It's an 18xx game. What's our certificate limit? 11. Okay. These guys count, as do the privates when they aren't swept into some, or the miners when they're not swept into something. I don't think I can count on him starting something. He already started, so he's not going to be buying another corporation. So yeah, I think I have to start Lunar. I would much rather be starting, I don't know if these are that much better. They have empty space around them. That's the big bonus. Come here, you little, these things smear like blood. Little red spiders. Yeah, I'm a murderer. Second one I've killed today. Yeah, I think I have to buy Lunar. Quick note, I've thrown the money out into Lunar and RU. It's technically not there yet. They haven't become active yet, so they aren't running. So if they don't sell out their 50%, which they're both guaranteed to do, but if they don't do that, then I won't. I'll take that money back into the bank. Now, this is again a weird company. It's got a bunch of claims, but only 1 base and 2 refueling. Now, nickel's pretty common, but there isn't much near me. And as often is the case, ore crushers can in my way here, and I may not want to give those rare claims over. I may want to. They're in a good location for me, and actually I can fly them up to here where they're pretty damn valuable. So that's not an entirely unreasonable thing to do. I might have wanted to crash it in, but the way I'm looking at it is I want the Asteroid League shares. I think they're going to be kind of cool. It's not going to be a huge Asteroid League. It looks like it's going to be 3 of these companies to begin with, but the Asteroid League has a lot of tokens and a lot of power and a fair amount of money to start with. And it's got like, what, 4 of these 125 shares, so it's not broke, and it'll be getting money crashing into it. So it's something to look at. But the problem with this situation is I'm going to have to like throw my base somewhere back here so I can haul. There's a lot of decent nickel in here, and start throwing my claims out there, and then maybe a refueling here or something. We'll see. That refueling's good. It jumps me right to here. If I can make it to here, I can make it to here. Poor fool has basically enough money to buy 2 shares. Any 2 shares he wants. He can't buy it. I mean, he could sell his TSIs and start one of these other corporations. However, TSI's taken some hits. If I end up without a corporation at all, that's going to suck. That's going to suck really big time, because I want to convert these tunnel systems and be able to use that. That's kind of a bonus for me. So maybe I need to start one. Is there one that I really want? Because I have the cash, I can start one. OPC, who knows? RCC. RCC looks more promising to me. They're both available now. Tunnel Systems gives me a base, which is kind of a better thing for the OPC. The disadvantage is I won't get as much money. If I start spending my money now on buying things, like, say, an LE and an RU, as an example, I will not, because then I'm not putting money into these corporations and I'm keeping them kind of weak. Whereas all the money in the world is already in these guys. I will make more cat. Plus, also, these suckers I have to pay 67 for, but they're only worth 10. So I lose 57 bucks per share on those that I buy right off the bat. So those are a really bad buy as an investment. One reason not to try to take this sucker over, right? Okay, so if I buy into investments, I'm going to have better capital. I'll be able to start my corporation at a higher amount than I'm going to be able to start it right now. Right now, it'll be 154 times 2 plus 175, 185, 190. It's 498. I'm just $2 short of being able to start it at 100, but I'll be able to start it at a good price at 88. So that's not too terrible. The negative is I'll be throwing shares out that people can pick up if they want. He can't. He sold one, but everybody else could buy TSIs. He obviously will buy one. He'll buy one. They're going to make good money. If I don't do this, though, I'm probably going to get priority because these two corporations have to float. Of course, there's a fair amount of money on some of these other players. They may be tossing money into their... they might be tossing quite a bit of money into their little guys, and they may be buying 6 shares total instead of the 5 that these guys are calculated at. So priority could end up over here. He could end up getting first shot at a corporation. That's fine, but then each of these guys are going to have probably the cash to buy another corporation, which I do not want to have happen. I want to make sure that I get a certificate. I think I've got to buy. Okay. All right. He almost screwed up and tried to buy a Venus Prospect and then realized, I lose the TSI if I do that. So he bought a share of TSI. That puts him in a horrible position, though. He's holding 3 shares of TSI. He cannot afford to hold that unless he gets a priority deal. Maybe I will. That's all I can hope for. I will buy the fourth share. 125, make it 123. The reason, of course, being that if I do not get priority, Venus Prospector can pretty much steal all of the money and ships out of TSI and leave it with really garbage and hand it off to me. And that makes, you know, sure, I'm giving up a presidency, but it's not that powerful right now. And making one of your corporations really, really super powerful for the rest of the game and being able to start another corporation would be incredible. So he's in a position where he may be starting the last of the 3 corporations, the OPC, depending on what happens here. Clearly miscalculated with the RU. I have enough money for a couple more shares. I don't know what I did wrong. Like, I can't even figure it out at this point. I don't know if maybe I made bad change. I thought I had it calculated out correctly where I could only do it at 77. And I'm left with, fuck, I don't know what happened. Maybe money changed hands into the wrong person's hands. I just don't know. But this sucks. I mean, if he fucked up, at least I'm not cheating, but he's got a ton of money, and he's already at 50%, which is what he wanted to get to. 77 times 5 is 385. He had 308 here. He was at 498. He was just short. This was the guy who was just short, wasn't it? No, this was the guy who was just short. So that's the 385. I have 175 more. I am guessing that what happened was I didn't pay for that first share, which should have been 154 bucks, because that sounds about right. So that's what we're going to estimate here, and that means he has nothing to do, so he's going to pass, and uh-oh. Now he still has cash to throw into his Venus Prospectors, but it's beginning to look like TSI is not, that he's not going to get priority. And because this guy's got the Mars mining and has more cash on hand. Now ask people what their cash is and figure out how this is going to flow, because I would rather get started early, although it's not really going to matter, because if I'm floating something new, I'm going to be throwing 100%, or I'm going to be buying 5 shares, which nobody else is going to be doing at this point. And the need to divest of my TSIs, might as well start my own company with cash rather than crash Drillhound into it. I need a company of my own because of this, but starting something at 100 seems like a good idea. All the TSIs are gone, and how the mighty have fallen. Some people might pick them up, though. There are people who might have a little extra cash on hand. For example, he might want to fill out his portfolio in TSIs and let VP sit on its own, you know. Although it's going to make good money too. So I don't know. I say this much: I don't think I've seen one where all the companies fell at once. I think usually at least one of these 2 third-tier companies fails to make it out when everything drops. Quite often what happens is a couple of companies start, but you don't see, I don't know, I mean, I've seen games where none of the growth corporations happened, because I'm a little leery of them. I've seen games where everybody jumps in and growths and just about everything comes out, but usually a company stays there. So this is what we got, and this guy feels pretty damn safe buying a TSI, because he's pretty sure that since he started a company at full par, he's going to be buying 5 shares. So I'll probably pick up an extra and make some extra cash off of it this time. Make up for the losses I took on the drop in stock value. Kind of a weird situation going. This guy's collecting up the TSIs now. He feels like he's safe because he's going to get priority for this turn. He'd rather not spend his money on the Mars mining. That's a growth company. He's losing cash on it right off the bat. Mainly it means he's not flexible to sell these off ever until they, make value, at least, probably. But he was trying to keep them all in there so that he could pay off full. But he's seeing, geez, that's kind of not looking too comfortable. He can't buy another one. That means that I could leave 2 shares in there. So that's kind of a hard position. But first player went here. This guy sold TSI. This guy sold TSI. So neither of them can pick them up. I was kind of considering, I could sell one of these. Well, I can't sell one of those because it's only worth 10 bucks. This for 77 would work well. I would have enough to buy one, but I can't. So we're passed around to here, and he's got to make his decision. Does he want another TSI? Because if he doesn't buy it and he doesn't have priority, he may end up not being able to get it, but the TSI may just end up being kind of shitty because somebody's holding 30% of it. And he may use it as a feeder for his VP. Poor TSI. It doesn't usually get screwed. We're still in the wacky world of XX. He's bought up VPs, able to hold a couple of them in here. There's some danger. But he's pretty sure this guy's going to sell off all his shares in TSI, or at least a couple of them. So there's going to be a fair amount of them available next stock round. The only danger is that somehow that guy is able to figure out how to get 2 of those shares because my money's tied up stupidly, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think I'll be making enough cash that I'll be able to protect the TSI, is basically what I'm saying. Because those VPs are still not going to be worth much. They'll be 34 a share. No, it's 2 spaces out, 50 a share, so you get some value. But here's the thing. This guy's looking at, if I sell a TSI, he can't hold them anymore. Is that worth it? The LE is not going to run. The TSI is going to run. This guy was the other guy who had 2 companies. I could hurt the hell out of him and prevent him from getting the advantage of being the investor. He's got 3 shares of it. I've only got 1. I think I'm going to do it. It doesn't keep decreasing the value, but it makes it so he can't even hold them. So it's a kind of neat engineered situation that you don't normally see somebody handing away priority deal. But priority is kind of worthless to me right now over here. Just think about it all. Yes, I do lose some money off the TSI, especially since it dropped so far. But he sells, so I get priority back when I pass. And he's going to fill out his portfolio. So even if other people see some opportunity off the TSI, which I don't think anybody has, I think the only person who can buy it is him. And it might be worthwhile to sell a Venus Prospector for 10 if he had the cash for it, but he doesn't. Take the bath on the Venus Prospector because it's not going to make as much money as the TSIs are right now, perhaps. I don't know. But the net effect of it all is priorities here. He's got this whole weird assortment of companies. Nothing's sold out. Everybody's pretty much holding their own companies except for him. He's the only investor out there right now. He's got 2 corporations. All the corporations have been assigned except for the Asteroid League. Let me make sure we have the right number. There's 2 things I want to check. I have 1, 2 of these left. 3 of them left by my count. And I got 4 shares there. That isn't right. There should be 1, 2. There's got to be another one. Oh, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's good. Okay, so those are accounted for. The one thing I'm going to do to double check before I load this up, and I'm not going to come back afterwards, is I'm going to make sure that I've got the right amount of money in each of the 2 growth companies, because that's something that's very easy to screw up. You forget and you put the cash in here or whatever. So that's going to be a problem, next time, next stock round, because there's still a bunch of shares in there that I got to remember that the growth corporations go in there. It's a hard thing to remember because there's the multiple capitalization types in the game. This is very not promising. I do come back. Venus Prospectors had an extra 68 bucks on it or something like that. I don't know. It was like, obviously I had exchanged too many monies, or I had thrown money in too many times, probably in a juggling type error. So that's fine. Let me make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So he should be a 402. That's fine. He was just completely off. I mean, to the extent that I have no idea. I mean, it wasn't multiples of 67. It wasn't anything like it. I have no idea what happened here, which leads me to really wonder what the hell happened, because he juggled money around a little bit, making some decisions, but I hope that I didn't fuck up. It looks right, like he had 200 and some money. It may have been a little bit more than that, but I don't know. I just really don't know. And I'm going to go with it as it is. But I am almost certain that players have the wrong amount of money at this point. At least I think the corporations have the right amount. I could do a quick calculation on that. Unfortunately, this game has stupid par values, so this should be 880. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, he does. Should be 770, which looks right. LE should be 1,000. 2, 3, 4, 5. The other one should be 1,000. I think I got those right, but who the hell knows with everything else? I mean, this especially. This one I can justify. I screwed something up and extra money went into it, you know, probably with a juggling error. But this one, the juggling error had to be extreme, and it was just like there was nowhere near enough money, and it was not anywhere near a multiple of 67. So I have just no idea what happened there. All right, let's send this up then, and let's move this here. And again, you know, Tom Lehman made the decision that all this cool shit was so great, but when you start actually playing with it, and I've got the same problem with some of the other designs, you're just juggling too much shit in your head at once, and you're going to make errors. And unless somebody's watching me like a hawk, you know, that's going to happen in a post play too. I'm always catching myself, or someone else is catching me cheating. Not necessarily in my favor, just making mistakes left and right. Calculation errors, whatever. I don't know what to do about it, you know, whatever.